shit. We gotta nip it in the bud.
We absolutely have to stop this shit. That's what's in Grind's Head this week. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next time. Cheers. All right, so that's the podcast proper. Now we get into a more free-form conversation. We can interact with chat. We can say whatever the fuck we want. More so than we already did, which I pretty much let my freak flag fly there as well. So, couple things here. I see you looking at chat. I'm looking at chat. Mm-hmm. So there were some really interesting comments if we scroll up. So, was Air America blocked or did it just fail? Answer was Air America was pulled from stations one by one owned by Clear Channel until they didn't have a big enough distribution network to succeed. That's true.
That is correct, yeah.
And we have, let's see, a lot of good feedback, which is awesome. Cuck Cast, that was funny. That was a good one. From Goon Stunts 1, but he didn't used to always capitalize the S, so I used to call him Goons 1. He says, oh, I like her. Miss Rose, do you Twitch? Well, part of the reason that we did this was I was trying to convince her to do that. I think I haven't done.
Yeah, I don't do Twitch. I haven't done it recently, but so I'm looking for a way to move over my videos and stuff like that because the alternative video platform I've been using, VidMe, is shutting down like mid-December, right. And so I was like, I got to start doing something else over there because despite the fact that I'm on YouTube demonetizes everything. My videos almost like on the regular because I'm saying fucking shit and yelling about Nazis and all sorts of freaky weird shit and so like sometimes it's a legitimate we can't have you with our advertisers and other times it's complete bullshit. But so I do try to have my my videos elsewhere in or do something else or have my stuff represented somewhere. I did just start putting stuff on Vimeo. Yeah, I just put some stuff on Vimeo.
I think that platform will eat you up because that's a lot of artsy type stuff. That's a lot of like the filmmakers that go on there are very way about self-expression. I think you'll find a lot of support on that platform. So I think that's a smart move. Twitch is such a wide range of things. Like I've seen everything from your what you think of when you think of Twitch as esports to talk shows about the politics of self-expression, politics of corporate game companies. I mean, to back in 2013 when they launched the PS4, people were using it to fuck on Twitch, and that was not fun. That lasted a couple weeks, and then Twitch is like, you can't stream this game anymore. So.
Excuse me. So I think that I kind of ignored Twitch for a really long time because basically what happened is I was under the impression originally that Twitch was just for games. And as much as I've played games my whole life and I love games, but I also hit a place around college where I'm like, I guess I don't get any new consoles because I'm broke as fuck. So I didn't get any of the new, I don't have any new games. I don't have Destiny. I don't the most recent game I bought was Stardew Valley. And I think a friend bought it for me. So, I don't get new games a lot. So I'm like, well, I won't be able to compete with these people who are buying the best of the best of like the newest PS4 stuff and all of and I just don't like shooty bang bang games and those
shooty bang bang.
That's what I call it, shooty bang bang. And like Call of Duty, you just like bang bang bang, shoot brown people, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. I just want to tend my goddamn Harvest Moon garden. And work on my relationship in Persona 4. I don't care about shooting people.
But that's the thing, though, is that there's so many, you'd be surprised. There are some really, really, really successful Stardew Valley streams. People just sit and play that. I'll sit and play Hearthstone, which is basically a dumbed-down version of Magic the Gathering. I just started doing it a few weeks ago, and my viewership just spiked. I was like, well, I'm shitty at this. People just love
I know some of the guys who work on Hearthstone, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because I do a little bit of work on as sort of like a freelance person in the games industry, and Eugene, Oregon is actually like a really big, like a little place where a lot of game development places come, and so I've worked a little bit with people. If you ever play Prominence Poker, I'm a voice. I'm the first voice you hear in that.
Nice. I might have to look that up now. For example, I'm doing a sponsored stream on Thursday. With a developer that I got reached out by another Twitch streamer and said, "Hey, do you want to stream this?" Like, basically, we're piggybacking. So what we're doing, like, for the launch of the game on Thursday, she's streaming for 2 hours, and then I stream for 2 hours, and someone else streams for 2 hours, and we're just making it like go through the whole workday. And it was just like a grassroots network thing. And part of the reason she got hooked up with it is that the developers saw her stream, like her attitude and the way she conveyed stuff emotionally, and they're like, "Do you want to do voice acting in this game?" And so they did, and she's been following it, and then it's just been like a cool thing. And like Goons is saying right here, I still call them Goons. That's the beauty of Twitch. You can do just about whatever, and people will enjoy it. That's true. You can say pretty much anything.
But is it really mostly centered around video games? Like people wouldn't expect
anymore.
me to.
Like right now, you've got several different directories. You've got gaming, and then you've got different directories for each type of game, like whether it's retro or whatever. You can do, like, right now we're under the category talk shows, so which is just what it sounds like. You've got IRL, which means, like, for example, if you one of, you know, or like a creative streamer, or what am I called, Fierce Kittens. She has a room, multicam set up. She sews and makes cosplay, and she's really heavy into Sailor Moon. So you might, you know, right?
I love Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I knew I was saving that one for after the podcast. Right. So like all her emotes, like her follow notification is Sailor Moon. Like the thing that I don't know, I can't say it, but it's the transformation at like the end of the transformational thing.
Moon Prism Power makeup, yeah.
Right, but it was the Japanese. Not, she doesn't do the English translation, and she has a lot of Sailor Moon related emotes in her chat. Everyone's got their own thing. Like we were talking before the show about my love for Godzilla, so that's, you know, Grindzilla is like a really big thing. Like, for example, like I'll post in chat. You won't be able to see it. Never mind. Unless you have BTTV installed, you won't see this picture. The GHJ Mom one, which is, like I said, Godzilla with the hair curlers and stuff. Every channel gets its own identity. So the trick is, like, you could just go on and, for example, like one easy way for you to get in, I think, would be to stream under the IRL in real life the directory, and just do it while you're shooting your videos to kind of get people in who kind of see what it's like to let them in on the creative process, maybe. You know, that'd probably be the easiest way for you to start, and just talk. And then after you're done with the shooting, either you could even go so far as to stream the editing process, which would be considered a creative stream, or you could just talk to them the way we're talking to them now. It is, if that's something you wanted to do, like maybe there are things that you want to have open discussions about to help spark subjects for videos later. There's a million different things you could do. It's not, I do this? It's just do it.
Right. Well, that sounds convincing. I don't know. Maybe I will have to start a Twitch channel. I did for a while start a channel. And then I was working on, because I have a real passion for indie games as a game. Like I do game development sometimes and sort of on the side. And so I know a lot of independent game developers, and some of them have just made some of the most incredible games that have just been really amazing. And so I love to focus on indie games. So if I did that, I mean, but I also suck at games. I don't know.
No. Okay. So okay. I'll give you an example. Okay. Anyone who's in here has watched me play games. There's actually, if you look at one of my streams from like Thursday, I think it was, we were talking about something. I don't even fucking remember. And I was playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. And all I was doing was like running into the fray and getting shot. And I wasn't even I was horrible. Like, there's this misconception that Twitch is for the super elite gamers to be admired. People don't come here stream for the gameplay unless that's really all you do is like crazy good gameplay. They come for you. They come to your show to interact with you, to hang out with you. There's a joke in my stream that mine is the Guardian Down stream, because that's what your companion in Destiny says when you die. Guardian Down! And you'll hear that about every 7.5 seconds in my stream. even though I'm actually a pretty good Destiny player, I still die a lot because I believe in what they call kill trading. So once I have a lead in a competitive environment, I just trade kills where like I'll get the kill at the expense of my own life just to maintain the lead and get to the end of the match. It's funny and it happens to work. So
okay.
So whatever you want to do, like it's like the intro says, like just do whatever you want to do.
Right. Well, I do know. So I have had a few. I made this tremendous mistake on Twitter where I was just like, "Hey, indie developers, send me your game and I can talk about it on my show," because I fail at project and time management, and so a ton of people sent me free games that some of them were really cool, and I've been wanting to talk about them. And then I was just like, "Oh right, I have 3 jobs and a small child. What the fuck was I thinking?" And now I don't have any time to do it. So maybe if I started a Twitch channel, I could start focusing on.
For example, like there's a lot of like IRL streamers or the ones that focus on talk shows that like once a week they'll do gameplay, like on a Sunday, like a casual gameplay thing. And it's not a formalized deal at all. Like, for example, you could just be in one corner of the stream playing Stardew Valley or whatever game you want. And, like the number one Twitch clip in the last like 18 months was a guy playing a really scary game and getting scared out of his chair by his infant daughter. He fell over.
That's adorable.
Because he's like, ah! And he fell over. He's like, "Are you okay?" He picks up his kid. And that was actually featured at the opening keynote of TwitchCon. So, like, all these things that you talk about that you feel are disadvantages are all advantages because it makes you, wait for it, human. And that's what people want. They don't want this perfectly edited bullshit. They want that real experience. And you try to talk me down off this idea a little bit. Like, I'm shitty. Like, in person, I'm shitty live. I'm like, fuck that. You just did amazing. You knocked it out of the park. You're one of the most articulate guests I've ever had on any show ever.
I can't handle compliments.
No, my God. No.
Crippling insecurity.
Right. But, I mean, what I'm getting to is, like, I'm talking about the fact, like, I do gameplay most of the time, and this is, like, my off-day thing. Like, right now, this is my day off. But I was really wanting to get this out and get it done sooner. So I did a podcast last night, and then I did one today. And I might even be doing one tomorrow, for fuck's sake. And this one will probably get released Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't want to spam too much. And then it'll be plenty of time for people to contact on. But, see? Jake says, "Yep, we enjoy having you. I've seen that clip's funny as fuck."
Thank you.
And
all right,
murder.
well, you can...
Right? Try it.
I'll think about it. I'll try it.
Yeah. When you get to that place where you're starting to do it, let me know that you're ready, and I'll walk you through all the steps. Basically, I have this philosophy of measure twice, cut once. I have made every mistake you can make on this platform, I feel. Technically, psychologically, emotionally, whatever. I will teach you what's different about the platform and things you can do to, like, because you can turn it into YouTube content very easily, extremely easy, and all the lazy shortcuts that I can think of, I will hit. Because when I first started doing this, I had a full-time job, and I had to automate fucking everything. So all those tweets you saw that went out during the stream, I scheduled them before we even started through buffer.
All right, cool.
Exactly. So, like, that's why I'm just sitting here because you could do that. I have something called IFTTT, if this then that, that automates my stream social media. So when I start a stream, it sends a tweet, sends a Facebook post. It even posts on my website in a draft. So if I want to make that an article on my WordPress site, done.
Neat.
And then my WordPress site, when I publish something, it automatically goes out to Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Tumblr, Medium. And I don't have to do anything. Little things like that. OBS, Open Broadcasting Software, which is free open source software. I know more about that.
I think I used to have that. I have what's it called? XSplit Broadcaster currently.
It's good. But yeah. I will say that there's in my opinion, a larger learning curve for it than OBS,
Mhm.
as well as the fact that it does require a paid subscription for like some of your better features.
Some of the
So
features, yeah, I did notice
yeah,
that.
right. So there's ways to mitigate and minimize all this. Like if you're looking at the stream now, or ever, everything you see is something static on top of something static. Like you see this frame. I don't know if you're watching or not, but do you see the frame that
I
separates
am.
us?
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like because I was able to set one up, um, XSplit Broadcaster when I tried it out, and it looked very similar to just like Photoshop, which I use
Yeah.
almost every day, where it's just like layers, transparent layers upon transparent layers. So it's like that makes pretty much
So like
sense.
the frame that we're using right now, all it is, it's what they call a color source, and I just made it the width of the canvas, and then I just made it bars. Now, technically speaking, what I could have done, and what I could have done, was just make it one gigantic yellow bar and just place the images over top. But but these are actually just bars. Like I'll show you. Or if I unlock my cam, is just line, and I could do it that way. There are so many like DIY punk things you can do with it, and you don't even have to shave your head. Very easy.
No, that'd be good because it's December and it's fucking cold. Also, I look shit with a shaved head. I wish I had known that when I was 14, but alas.
I did too. Like when I was in the Marine Corps, like I had you have to shave your head. I never realized just how big my skull was.
Right. I have the opposite effect. If I actually have a fairly small, very round, sort of cantaloupe head, but just a ton of fucking hair, and my hair covers the fact that I have a dorky head, and so
I mean,
it shall
that gives
remain.
you dork cred, though.
Right?
No,
you don't even know. It was so bad because I like not only did I have a shaved, I kept the front, so I had like what's depending on where you're from. It's a devil lock, right? I had a devil lock, and then I grew it out into sort of like a Chelsea, and then I was just like, maybe I look terrible. Do I look terrible? I think I might look terrible. And that sense of that eventually, after several years, the awareness, like the self-awareness, I was like, oh no.
Right.
And
that's like with my beard. Like I had a beard before I went into the Marines. I shaved the beard off. I got used to not having one, but then I realized when I got back out of the Marines, like if I'm not in uniform or like looking very formal, me without a beard looks stupid.
Yeah, I shaved my beard too.
Right, totally. But seriously, you beard was kind of rough.
At least I could stroke it and just be like, yes, indeed. Luckily, I have the glasses, so I can be like, my God, ow, fuck, ow.
Exactly. So like, I wish I had a soundboard. I'd be like, ow, like from CSI with you took the glasses off,
Yeah.
We have a hashtag in this stream. It's called Things Said in an Orgy. In fact, and it's like I could stroke it and be like, indeed, things said in an orgy. Things said in an intellectual orgy. So, like, looks like you poked your eye. Yes, she poked her eye, Volt. By the way,
I may have. It's fine.
Volts has a very important piece of information in his bio. In fact, it's archived in our Pantheon community.
Mysterious.
He has a penis. He made that very clear to us. He had a penis. I love giving him a hard time. He's awesome. But we talk mad trash in here, and we have I can't even like we play Cards Against Humanity sometimes. Oh, God. Now take a community that's already like predisposed to being horrible human beings, and then add those into the mix. Fucking forget it.
Yeah, so, it sounds like both amazing and terrifying.
Oh, it totally is terrifying sometimes because there are moments when I go, oh, fuck, and it just kind of
well, there goes my presidential bid.
Right, exactly, like that. Like I've given up on the possibility of ever running for anything ever. Now, it's funny when you were talking about like the 1% and stuff. I actually participated in the Occupy movement.
Cool!
I did
That's great.
I was a webmaster for one of the local Occupy movements and stuff, and I ran the whole thing.
One of these days, you should have me back on, and I'll tell you about my time working as a video editor for a citizen journalist news outlet that turned like pure propaganda.
Nice.
For Donald Trump. I'll tell you all about it sometime.
Yeah, well, I think you just need to be a regular guest because you and I bounce off each other pretty fucking well. So.
All right, if I can swing it, I'm trying to, get as much exposure as I can for my YouTube channel, because it's one of my 3 jobs is my YouTube channel, and I get paid through Patreon. So anything that can, get people excited about what we're doing is awesome.
Absolutely, because it's important in a free market to be able
bring
to
that back around. Well done.
Exactly. I'm really good. Like, these guys will tell you that when I get on these long, like, controversial points, I can always bring it back. I am like a master of bringing things back to front. Murder says, I'd like that she was a regular. I enjoyed listening. See? Exactly. Beetlejuice. What the fuck, Jake? What's Beetlejuice, sir? Are you saying Beetlejuice to like conjure up your keys, dude? Like, is that like? Because here's the thing: if I just kind of skim your comments, you're like, you got a head like a pumpkin. You think she rocked her shaved head. Then you said Beetlejuice, and you've lost your keys. Like, are you like a pumpkin head of Beetlejuice that's forgetful and loses things?
Check your keys or check your couch. That's where my keys are often.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, I have in my apartment. The first time I ever walked into it, I saw off to the left this perfect spot for like a little hat, like a waist-high table with little drawers. And I looked high and low in thrift shops for months, and I finally found something perfect. And I use it as a liquor cabinet. And then on top of it, I have this sterling silver bowl that's been tarnished to hell and back. That's where I put my keys and my wallet and everything. So I always know where they are, and if they're not in there, I freak out.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty bad about losing my wallet. I left it in a mall store once, and I walked away, and I was like, "Dear God," because I'm really bad about stuff like that. And I found it. I had just left it on a shelf because I was like, put it down to try on hats like an idiot. And so now I have one of those large metal chains that's attached from like, it's like a wallet chain, but it's attached from my wallet to my purse.
Nice.
So I am the dorky. I look like such a mess when I go outside because I have this enormous purse that has everything in it, plus my like weird giant wallet and stuff. I'm not a very aesthetically fashionable person.
Look, I put jean shorts on over sweatpants yesterday. Okay, so you've got nothing to fear from me.
Yes.
You're like, that's a good point. The only reason I did it was because the sweatpants didn't have pockets and it was fold out.
Fuck not having pockets. I am starting a pocket revolution. I refuse to buy pants that don't have pockets anymore. It's horseshit.
I didn't notice how much of a thing that was until the second ex-wife came in my life, because she would go to this. She would like buy like Japanese cyberpunk stuff, and their stuff had pockets in it, like lots of pockets, because that was the thing.
Patriarchy. Anyway, that's another.
Totally. No, totally.
I do have to go. I have to go. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time.
Fair enough. So, thanks so much for being on the show. Like, it was really, really fucking cool. We'll do it again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, Magdalene Rose. Take care. And no one can see or hear you. Oh, it's totally awesome. So I'm going to continue the stream here. You take care of yourself. So she is fucking amazing. This is, like I said in the intro, this has been a long thing coming. And when I really started the podcast, like, I didn't think that I was going to go the route of guests, but like I keep having amazing people on, and it just keeps getting better. So I think we're going to continue doing that. Sure, I'll still have like the vloggy type stuff for the podcast where, it's just me talking. But I think ultimately the strength of any of these discussions really does lie in having someone else to talk to. So I'll have Log back on at some point. I will definitely have Magdalene back on at some point. I'll always have Janzer on because he and I are like two peas in a pod. But I love talking to people about stuff that I'm passionate about. And there was reservation on both sides about that conversation. Not just because we were both scared that we were going to like go overboard, but we'd never talked in person before. Ever. We've only ever interacted on YouTube comments and Twitter. That's it. And there was some worry there because you never know how you're gonna, deal with somebody in person. You couldn't see me half the damn show. But for that being one of her first times doing something like that, like, first of all, that was fucking amazing. I feel, and I think she's a natural. I think she would really, really do well on this platform. So I hope she does do it. And she'd get affiliate really fucking fast. Matter of fact, I don't remember how many subscribers she has. I wasn't going to tell her this right off the bat. Because she might have a fast track to partnership depending on how many subscribers she has. Okay, she's just under 4,000. She's definitely got the view, for sure. So I feel like she'd be able to bring a lot of people over, and she would probably even damn grow more because of that. But I think she's a lot of fun and a very smart, very... I can't say enough good things about this woman. She's just too fucking cool. It's cool. So it was a real treat to have her on the show, and thank you guys for being so welcoming and showing her what the Grind Fam's about. And those of you that are new here, this is the kind of discussions we like to have, granted in a much more sexually charged way. Zen says Beetlejuicing is when one user posts a comment or thread on Reddit and another user with a username relevant to that parent comment or thread responds. It is not Beetlejuicing if the commenter does not respond naturally. Okay, I got it. So it's like someone called Fuck the FCC came in and said hi and subscribed during this podcast. Right on. Got you. I got you, dude. I got you. So let me do this. Nah. So that was just I'm coming down from. That was so much fun. I mean, that was better than I wanted it to be. Like, to me, like, my ideal version of that podcast was about 20 clicks down from what we actually got. It was such a fucking good podcast. I'm like so stoked about it. Because anytime you want to talk about something, you want to be able to bounce your ideas off of somebody that has, even if it's a similar viewpoint, their perspective is different. And she definitely brought that. So please support Magdalene Post. It means a lot to me because she is just and has such great just a great voice, and it's something that you just don't see enough of. You really don't. Everyone has their own agenda, and certainly she has one, as everyone does. I mean, she said it herself. We're animals. We have biases and everything else, but she doesn't pull that punch. She's like, this is who I am. This is what I think, and if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And she's very elegant in the way she deals with trolls and everything else, and just a joy. Just a joy. And on that note, Bo is licking her asshole. That's amazing. Thank you, Bo. She's just like, what's comrade? He's just out of frame, too. So, are there, like, now that you've seen, like, you guys have seen almost every kind of podcast that I can think of to do. Stuff about gaming, controversies, political stuff, my personal stories. Is there anything that you guys can think of that you want to hear talked about. You know, I think Zen or someone else mentioned, I'm surprised you're not talking about the tax bill. Like, that will come up. I just didn't want to do it this week because she and I had agreed on this subject, and to be honest, it's more pressing than the tax bill, I gotta be honest. Because the tax bill can be overturned very easily, and it's not even going to affect us until the next tax year. So it could be overturned before that tax year comes up. Technically speaking, we could be okay. Like, for example, we could have the exact opposite thing happen in a year from now, in as much as we could have new Congress people come in, overturn the shit before it even is reality. So I feel like, not that it's not important, don't get me wrong. So how can you help with net neutrality from your country? Honestly, there's not a ton that you can do other than just spread awareness. That's really all you can do, my friend. Spread awareness. If you have American friends, encourage them to call their congresspeople. Encourage them to contact the FCC. That's the best thing you can do. Shit, I lost my point. Go figure, right? But you know, the funny part is that, like, podcasts initially are one of the easiest things to do, but they require a lot of focus. And then after the fact, I've got to edit things together and put it up in a way that I don't do that with my Twitch stuff. Like, my Twitch stuff, I do the highlight, takes a few seconds, and it's up there. And I don't even do that with every show, you know. So although there's technically, during the show, less things I have to worry about, after the show it's like 3 times as much work. But I love doing it. Like, I used to have like 6 podcasts I would do for that rule, and I was doing those more than I stopped doing videos because of it, because the podcasts were something I had so much more fun doing. And I don't see myself doing podcasts more than I do the regular content, because that's not why you guys are here necessarily. But it is something I want to do at least once a week, every week, and continue pushing forward. Because I have things I'm passionate about, and it gives me an opportunity to do that. You know, on Friday when I was on the Broman podcast, it just reminded me how much passion I have for helping people and pushing people to live their dreams out and empowering them to do that. You know, I've helped a large chunk of my community at one point or another, in getting their stuff off the ground. Like Green Neon Driver, Jeff. He and I had a lot of conversations offline about the fact that I thought he'd be a really good Twitch streamer once he found his voice. Like, I feel like he fills a certain kind of streamer that I don't do the same thing. Hey, Epic Tragedy, how are you doing today? Yo, yourself, you're a man. Welcome to the stream. Like, he's a really good competitive player, and he has a fairly direct way of speaking, and I think that as he develops that, it's going to be great. He recently got affiliate, and he thanked me for encouraging him, and then, like, I've answered a shitload of technical questions for him because he wasn't sure how to work stuff, and that's fine, and it's going to continue. And I realized, like, maybe this is something I got to do more of. So that's where that idea comes from, and I'm going to continue developing that into next year, and hopefully it does come out the way that I think that it will. Affiliate is something that's very important. It takes so much pressure off, because partnership, although amazing and something I'd like to see happen at some point, the benefits that it gives you are more ethereal at this point than they are, structural. So I don't prioritize it. I will tell you that, and also, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. That Epic Tragedy. Thank you very much. Yeah, Goon, go for it. Like, join. I know you're in the Discord, so contact me through Discord. Let me know what's going on, or contact me through Twitter if you have a question. So, when it comes to Twitch, you have to just persevere. I had a pinned tweet on my Twitter that basically said, do what you want to do. Focus on being interactive and being entertaining and being yourself, and it will happen. The problem a lot of people run into, and I run into this problem as well, is being seen. And that's part of why I do these podcasts, because it puts me in a directory that I'm not normally in. And so for me, it's putting myself just in a different place. It's giving me opportunity. And one of the things I was looking at this morning is I have around a 7 to 8% turnaround rate. So for every unique person that views this channel, 7 to 8% of those people follow. That's a very, very high turnaround rate for Twitch. Twitch turnaround is usually around 5% or lower in some cases. So the idea is to get yourself in front of as many people as possible. And there's ways to do that. You'll hear 100 different methods to this. But the trick is to have consistency with how you are. Okay. So for example, I play a lot of Destiny, and I built my channel on the back of that game. Not because Destiny was something that was easy to get seen, but because people liked watching me play that. And I don't regret that. It's been a slow burn, and it's been purposeful. So as I'm starting to break into more different games and different types of content, it's a scary place for me to be, but it's also something that I have seen growth from that. Like this time last year, I started playing Watch Dogs 2 every night, and totally different user base. My people came along for the ride. They loved watching me play it. Loved making fun of my driving, and the new people came along and when it would latch onto it. But then when I go back to Destiny, those people still came back. They're like, "Oh, he's playing something different," because it was kind of like the reverse, right? So, and then one day I played Undertale, thinking, "Oh, this is a game that everyone loves to watch." It's kind of not getting a lot of views right now because not a lot of people are playing it. Maybe I'll be able to latch on to some of that. And I wanted to play the game because I heard such good things. I started playing the game and I fucking hate it. Hated it. And after like an hour or two, I was like, I can't. And I switched to Hearthstone. Viewership. I had like 2 people, then I had like 15 instantly. Which isn't a ton, but relative to what I had been seeing recently at that point, it was great. And it kind of reinvigorated the channel. And I decided to go back to Watch Dogs again, and then do some Destiny again, and like rotating things seems to work very, very well. And I've got 300 plus games to.
Welcome to the Disciples.
Wow, look at that go! Blammo!
Welcome to the Disciples.
Born to Beat, thank you so much for the 5 months at the top tier. That ghost, though. Thank you so much, sweetie. I appreciate that. How was your Sunday? How are you doing? Hope you're doing awesome. You are amazing. You are the bestest everestest. You're a mountain of awesome. Oh, shit. Sorry about that, Epic. That wasn't intentional. I will read your comment out. Because for me, it's more about the streamer. I may find them based on a game or what they're doing, but I don't look for the big channels. I look for the small one. Trying to get back to what Justin TV used to be. Conversation with the audience and focusing less on the game, more on the social aspect. Yeah, I didn't like the link. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That's something that like this channel was founded on. It was on the idea of, I know that I've got the gift of gab, so for me, it's very important to interact with people. And although there are days when I feel like I'm not doing that very well, people will still come back and say, "Dude, you're very interactive. Thank you." And I'm like, man, but I was so much better at that. Then I go to someone else's channel that's way more successful than mine. And I'm honestly not going to name names because it happens so often. I'm like, they're not really interacting that much. They'll read like the last 2 words of a sentence and go, uh-huh, but they won't interact. Like there are some people out there that just read the chat and don't interact. They just acknowledge. And for some people, that's enough. But that's not me. How you doing, Pat? Good to see you, buddy. Born in Murder, giving each other big hugs. How are you, boo boo? You know, so I'm just gonna. There's no context for this, but I feel like we've gone too long without it. So here's a dramatic deer for you. And no, I'm good. Hungry lol. How are you? I ate before the podcast. I was smart. I was smart. I had vegetarian bacon and vegetarian sausage and omnivore donuts. Coffee. Drank a lot of coffee in that podcast. Probably why I'm so energetic. But something has happened biochemically with me in the last couple of weeks where, although caffeine is giving me energy, like it's not giving me like this crazy like like it used to, and I'm really happy about that. It's funny. Epic tragedy. As a small streamer, it does get disheartening to stream to yourself 90% of the time, but it hasn't stopped me. Good. I went through that. We all go through that, dude. We all go through it. And it's a difficult thing to break into. I got a couple lucky breaks very early, and just stay consistent. You will get there. The biggest things are consistency, and I'm learning that the hard way, where anytime I've had to break up my schedule, it has fucked me so hard. So make a conservative schedule and stick to it as best you can. Even if it's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, you don't have to stream every day to be considered consistent. There's a misnomer about that. If you consistently stream on certain days at certain times and people like what they see, they will show up. And if you do that and you're consistent with it, you will be fine. Marathon long streams, yeah, they can help a lot, but it's more about being consistent in your delivery and being consistent in when you do it. So that's the best advice I can give you. And I'm still a small streamer, like small is anything under like 10,000. I find, and I think it's weird for people to say that, but Pat says, ew. Born got out of bed 2 hours ago and that's it. Woke up at noon and rolled on with the PC. Yeah. So, do I have posted on your panel? Or can you post updates on Twitter? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like my schedule? There's like several different ways that I do that. Let me change the title of the stream because this seems like a great opportunity to do a Q&A about streaming. Q&A stream. I'm gonna go. All right, that way it's accurate and people will show up. So, so with the schedule, there's a couple different ways that I've seen it done. And I've done it most of these different ways. So some people put it on like a pinned tweet on their Twitter. I don't do that. I feel like if you really want to know when I stream, you're going to go to the channel. In other words, I put the link to my Twitch channel in my Twitter. And if people are interested, they'll go. And then there's 2 panels below you'll see. One is the actual schedule with links and stuff. And below that is a timer to my next scheduled stream. Okay. So, and that's actually really easy to manage. I've seen people do both. I've seen people do one or the other or all 3. It's on what you're comfortable with. I'm experimenting with the timer thing. I think it's a great visual representation. And I would like to see functionality where you can take an extension panel and give it a title or like an image on it. Can't do that yet. So I may cheat that and go for a there's ways around it. There's technical ways around it, but the bottom line is that try them all. Try everything. You have to establish as much as you can to the viewer. You have to remember that although people want to be supportive of what you do, people are inherently, frankly, lazy. Myself included. That's why I automate so much of my social media. When I go live, within 5 minutes of me going live, a tweet goes out. something gets posted in my Discord, something goes on my Facebook channel, and I don't have to mess with it. Quite nice. I will BRB. All that coffee just ripped right through me. Give me a minute. We'll be right back. BRB. And I'm back, guys. Thanks for being patient. Born's getting food. I've just been posting my stream time on Twitter, even though I got to fix my panel. Benithian, this was you last night. What was Zen last night? What, dancing in the... He was dancing like Godzilla? Like, what? What? But again, guys, like, I love being here for you guys. I love that you guys are here for me. And it means the world that we're able to talk like this, because when you look at, like, he had an emergency poop. Well, I'm sitting here and my bladder's like, dude. So I had to go. It was just pee at that point. It wasn't. I didn't have to chuck, which I'm happy about. Poop explodes. Eric's most wanted poop. And you know, kind of bringing this back to the original subject of the podcast, like, without access to these websites and these outlets, so many people would not be able to connect to others, and it would literally become a mental health problem for a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that Twitch stream as a means to cope with depression, to cope with social anxiety, to cope with all kinds of stuff. And there are people that watch streams for the same reason, to cope with, you know, these different things. People. And there are people that watch streams to look at kitties. You're the kitty, you know that? Huh? You're the furry owl. Who? You. You get up and you say, I don't want that. Not what I asked for. I didn't sign up for this. Like, I'm out of here. Wagging her tail angry like, fucking I don't want you to hug me, asshole. What the fuck are you gonna... What was this? Bohyben. So, just funny stuff. So, sorry, Twitter distracted me as it often does here. I like to make sure I'm not missing anything. My question is, should I fix my panel? Yeah, fix it. Absolutely. Like if you have panels on your Twitch channel that do not accurately represent your show or your schedule or anything, fix it. Like, fix it. Do whatever you want. Whether you want to use the extension or you want to use just a typed out schedule, you know, you have that power. Use it. Like, if you even begin to question the validity of your own stuff, just fix it. Just do it. Try it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't help. Or you can put it back if you want to. My advice is if there's a question in your mind if it should be changed, then you should probably try it. Try changing. Try it. It can't hurt anything, right? So try changing it. You know, if you think the game that you're playing or the stuff you're talking about isn't working, stay true to yourself and try something else. Don't like change who you are. Don't change your approach. Just change the content a little bit. That's all. You know. So it's the biggest thing is like it's easy to be unsure of yourself when you're in a vacuum, right? So for example, Epic Tragedy is concerned that they're like having a hard time breaking through. And with that in mind, like if what you're doing isn't working, try something else. You know, I was lucky to build a relatively small but loyal following. Like I cut my teeth playing Destiny while streaming from the PS4. And then I took a break from playing Destiny because I'd gotten a new PC and I wanted to start streaming from there. And I was just really into the idea of playing stuff on the PC for a change. So I did. And that helped kind of cut my teeth a little bit sharper and kind of hone my skills. And then I started playing Destiny again, and people stuck around, and then I kind of grew things that way. But, you know, little changes in your content can make lasting improvements to your overall channel quality. And it's important to be aware of that. So, but that doesn't mean at the same token that I can't stress this enough. You don't want to like lose sight of who you are. Like, I realized early on that playing music from my music player without allowing people the option to change the music, I didn't think it was going to be an issue, but it was. So I changed it. I went to a song request format, which I've had for over 2 years now, almost 3 years. Maybe a dozen times in 3 years have I gone to where there's no song request available and I'm playing music that people can't change. And that's because I'm doing something where I late at night, I want to stay awake, or I'm trying to focus on something. But despite the fact that my name is Grindhead Jim and it's about death metal and grindcore, I like other music, and I wanted that to be reflected. I wanted people to have some ownership of something as simple as that, and that worked. People would come in and become part of that discussion, and we talk music sometimes. It was just this slightest little thing that can make a big difference to a lot of people. Does a face cam matter? That really bad social anxiety that would affect my gameplay. Well, the fact is, people are watching you anyway. Even if they can't see your face, they're still watching. I think people tend to gravitate towards and prefer face cams most of the time. Some people will tell you that depending upon the gameplay and the level of interaction, the face cam doesn't matter. I mean, your comfort is important, but it all depends upon what you're trying to achieve. And when it comes to the anxiety of having a face cam, a ultimately, the only way to overcome that is to do it. You don't. The thing of it is, they may be able to see you, but you don't have to look at them. It's no different than looking in a mirror. I think face cam is very important because it humanizes, and that will make you vulnerable. Like I've had people come in and tell me I'm fat, and I'm like, shit, I fucking knew that, but thanks for the tip, I appreciate that. Or I've had the other side where like people fetishize my fucking beard all the time. Oh, I want to just roll in your beard, bro. I'm like, that's cool, and you just let it sit. You know what I mean? People are gonna do and say things that are outside your comfort zone. It's going to happen, whether you have a face cam or not, and you will not know how to deal with it at the moment. The trick is you just let it slide, on one level or another. If something's inappropriate, you deal with it. If it isn't, you just let it go. So ultimately, I personally and professionally feel a face cam is going to give you a better chance at people latching onto your stream than not. But if it is going to make you uncomfortable, permanently uncomfortable, I wouldn't do it. I do feel like you would be able to get further with it than that. Goon says, I've had people be shocked as fuck that I'm black. Fair. People be shocked as fuck if I was black, because I'm not. But if you are, and I'm going to be, like, just straight up, I don't think there's enough black streamers. Sorry. I don't think there's enough. So many good personalities out there. So many great people of all cultures, all races, all skin colors, cultural backgrounds. I think everything has a place. So, I mean, I've got people in my community and people I look up to that again, like, maybe you wouldn't think they're black, which the fuck is that? But amazing people are amazing people no matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what your genetic or cultural heritage. You're a good person. You're a good person. Murder. For me as a viewer, I feel like I can relate more to a streamer when I can see them. It feels less invasive and creepy when they have a cam. I don't feel like I'm watching something that I shouldn't. But it doesn't mean I won't watch a stream with no face cam. It's perfect. Some streams that have no face cam, I can watch. For me, most I can't, because I need the interactivity. I like to know that person knows I'm there and cares I'm there. Because I'm a fucking, let's face it, I'm an attention hog. I love attention. That's why a lot of people stream, honestly, because they're not getting enough attention in real life, and they want more. So they get it. They get it here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with it, that's cool. Let's go watch it. And a lot of viewers, they do it for the attention too. But thinking about investing in a Kinect, their price has gone down. If you're just going to stream from the Xbox One, they're not that expensive now. That'd be an easy way to figure out if you like it. Or Zen gets his webcam ready for it later. The thing is, Pat, if you're streaming from an Xbox One, the latest hardware, firmware update, you can use any old USB webcam. If it works on Windows, it'll work on the Xbox One. So if you already have a webcam, you don't need a Kinect. Let me see if you can. Let me see if the Twitch app still works. Stream, because I'm curious about that myself. Twitch from Xbox One 2017. Let's see here. Okay, there's a YouTube channel here. There's a bunch of different things that will show you how to do it. There's right here. Here we go. So from Xbox.com, if you go to, and this is from their store right now, it's the live apps. With Twitch on Xbox One, you can broadcast and watch your favorite game. There you go. It's still listed as a broadcasting app on the Xbox site. and see it for yourself. Yeah, the Kinect is officially dead. True. This app still works apparently. So they're definitely pushing Mixer, but that doesn't mean like it's not a native firmware feature, but the app will allow you to broadcast. I think that they just made it that way. In either case, like you can still use it clearly, like Xbox says you can. So. And I agree that they would rather you stream to Mixer, clearly, but at the same time, yeah, and even the Twitch help things do the same thing. Yeah, pretty easy shit. Basically, there's a couple things you got to do and simple stuff. Good stuff. So, definitely something you can do. Very inexpensive ways to do it. So do it. You know, I wouldn't bother buying the Kinect. I would buy a webcam, and almost any webcam will do the trick for about $50. The webcam I use, the C920, is not obsolete, but it's no longer the top of the line, so you can get it cheap here. Let me look. Ahead, Jim. See, I have my setup even linked on my website. I'm smart. So, like, it's the same thing that's in my panel, but in a page on my website. Where is the webcam? Here somewhere.
I know I have it here.
Here it is. I have them all linked to Amazon pages. Yeah, it's $50. Regular price, $51.95. Here. My favorite. It's just a great website. Great website. Great webcam. There's other stuff that you can use, but for what it costs, I don't recommend it. Unless you really, really need the higher end parts of this, which you won't. If you're streaming from an Xbox, you don't need anything more than a 920 party. If you're streaming in a living room or another, like where you're further back from the TV, this has a little hole on the bottom. You can put it on any tripod. You can get like a $10 tripod off of Amazon and post it. And there you go. Done. And let's say you don't want to use your headset mic for streaming, which you should. But if you don't, you can. There's a mic inside that webcam. You can use it if you want to. You know, you could do that. You could get away with it. There's tons of ways to get around. So, for the price, like, experiment with it. You can use it. Great stuff. Great stuff. If you have other questions, just throw them at me. You know, and then, but streaming from a console was how I got my start, and there were parts of that. I did everything I could to hide the fact that I was streaming from a console. So what I did was I got an old green screen out of the closet, and I put it behind me. And the PS4, and I think the Xbox will do it too. It'll remove the background for you. And I hid chat, and I had chat open on my phone, which was on like a little stand. And then I moved to a tablet for a while. And that was how I streamed for a very long time. If people didn't know I was streaming from a console, so it looked good. My dad's an old Logitech camera. My work perfect. You don't have to spend anything. There you go. Try that. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You try it, see if you like it. If you do like it, spend the money. You know, get something a bit more high quality. That's the best thing you can do. Like the webcam that I was using before this, I had for other reasons. I used to make YouTube videos with it. And not the best, but it does the trick. And as I got more serious about it, I invested more and more and more into, like, this room is just for streaming. All I do in here. That's it. Like, everything here is built for that purpose. Even the way I have these shelves laid out is designed to be a aesthetically pleasing background. People love it. You know, even though I prefer using a green screen most of the time. Eventually, I will be Will it work on Xbox One? If that webcam is supported by Windows, it will work in Xbox. It should, because the Xbox One firmware update is pretty legit. Like, you'll know right away. Plug it in, see if it works. Takes 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Try it. It should. If it'll work on a computer, yeah, exactly. That's all you have to do. Because the Xbox One architecture, the software, the firmware for that device, is getting closer and closer to Windows 10 every day, which is not a bad thing, really. And right, if it's old, the drivers might not be there. But the worst that can happen is you try it doesn't work. But you got to try it. You know what I mean? So, that's just
how it is.
So, I don't think what else. Just be interactive, be bold, make choices, do stuff. I made a choice very early in my streaming career to go mature, because I didn't want to run the risk of being reported for being profane and not having accountability. So for me, it made sense. For other guys, you don't want to do that. But if you're not streaming like mature rated games, and you're not streaming, and you're not swearing a lot or whatever, no reason to go mature. I swear a lot, and I stream some mature rated games. Makes sense. Easy thing to do. Even if you're streaming from a console, there's some things you're going to want to do on a computer. You're going to want to go on your Twitch account, make sure that archiving is enabled, so that all of your streams get saved. And it's important to make sure any streams you want to have saved forever, you make highlights of them so that people can do that. Some people will tell you that, like, larger channels will, they don't do this because they have an attitude of, if you're not there, you missed it. And I understand that for the larger streamers, and I don't disagree with it for those channels. But I feel like if you're starting out, you want to archive as much of your streams as possible, especially the stuff that was good, where you had good rapport with the community and you were showing something off. Because the random person that may click on your Twitch stream from Twitter, for example, if I can't see any examples of your stream, I'm not going to hit the follow button no matter how much I like you on Twitter. It shows me a lack of foresight in your channel. If you don't take it seriously, I'm not going. So a lot of people, if they have like low follower count, I assume that they don't stream if there's no video. Highlighted borderline. There you go. That's something. It starts. It all comes back to being aware. Like, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the person watching your channel and think about, like, what makes you follow a channel, and make sure that you're doing your version of that, right? Making sure that you are trying to be the best streamer you can be. Like, you don't have to be the same as, like, a Continue or me or Lyric or anybody. You want to be the best you can be. So don't play against type, oh, hey, my auto host actually worked this time. No, it worked yesterday, I think. I don't think your auto host works, sir. I haven't seen any notifications of auto host from you, my friend. I'm sorry to give you that.
We're really chuffed with the post, you know what I mean? We're chuffed, you know what I mean? That's a bad one.
Pat, thanks for the host. Rip. I mean, you might be auto hosting somebody else, though. I don't know. But auto hosts are great. Like, I was saying the other night in the stream, like,
we're really chuffed with the post,
thank
you
you,
know what I
sir.
mean? We're chuffed, you know what I mean? That's a bad one.
I didn't realize, like, how much Twitch takes that into account, because I guess, and I haven't talked to anyone on Twitch about this, and I'd love to have someone from Twitch on the goddamn show and say, hey, what are some things we can dispel? Like, what are some myths we can dispel about streaming? And I may do that at some point, but it's not for today. So, it looks as though the way that the stat is displayed is that hosting is an indicator of viewer engagement, because I was on it, but I haven't been able to set it up right. That's what I was kind of alluding to. It makes sense. It's weird. Auto hosting can be really weird. I dabbled with it with bots before, but as soon as Twitch introduced it, I'm like, fuck it. I just made it a thing. So, I need to change it to where it's random again, too. But for example, like there was one stream I did, that wasn't, something where I had a very large host that I was aware of at the time, but I had like a 40% viewership from a host. Or hosts in general, and I had no fucking idea about that. Like, if I look right now on my dashboard, look at hosts in general, like right now, 18 people are hosting me right now. Or, no. Yeah, right now I've got, some of them I don't get notified on if they don't have any viewers at the time. But right now, I have, holy shit. Pardon me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 hosts right now. How fucking crazy is that, right? 26. So, it is, I can't downplay it at all. You can't devalue it. So 25 people are hosting me, of which 18 are auto-hosting. So it's like, it's something that I find an interesting component of the Twitch community. And especially since auto-host came out, like, it's a bigger part of it, right? So let's look at yesterday's stream, for example. Yesterday, I had 37% of my views came from hosts yesterday. That's insane. Which, by the way, is 10% more than my followers. Like, how? So, I had a raid, which counts as a host as well. So, that was 7% of my views. So, right there, I had 44% of, no. 44%. It's almost half, just from a host alone. 10% came from Twitter. It was just like, what? Like, how does that even happen? But it does. It totally happens. So, it's one of those things where you don't realize the value of something like that until you see a raw number like that. Very important. Very important. And, you know, it that increased my total views, increased my unique chatters, increased my max views. These are things that happen. More and more, you know what I mean? Like the stream before that, which I didn't have a guest on, which is me by myself. That one was 20% host. But it was still, that's a large number. You know what I mean? So it's like, these things do matter. And it's something that have a large amount of value. So people sometimes will host you, even if they have no viewers. And you'll think it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Ladies. Or, you know, pouring a glass of water into a lake. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It just seems futile, but it does help, right? It totally helps. So never think that anything you can do to support somebody else, it's helpful. Whether you believe it in the moment or not. And people will see that, right? Like, for example, like about once a week, I take a look at like who's actually hosting me, and I kind of go, who should I be supporting more? And there's a really interesting list of people that do that. Well, you know, I don't always get the notification, but it's an important component of being a content creator, because in a vacuum, there was a time when I'd be talking into a mic to no one. Everyone starts that way. Every fucking person. The first time you put content out there, whether it's live or recorded, you're waiting for someone to pick up on you. So, and sometimes just offering support to other people can do it, And that comes in the form of posts or follows or what have you. I would caution you to stray away from follow for follow. So, if you're going to follow somebody, follow them because you find value in their content and provide value for them. Don't follow someone, show up for 8 seconds and then host them and never talk to them again. There are some people that will auto-host me, but I haven't had a conversation with them in 2 years. I've never seen them in my stream, and to be fair, I've never been in there. And those are some weird interactions that way. Do I think that needs corrected? Yeah, probably. But you can't operate off of the assumption that your intentions will be perceived as what they are. In other words, maybe you're hosting and not showing up for a good reason. You're hosting because you can't be there and you want to support them in some way. But if you don't actually talk to them about that or indicate that in some way, showing the support, it may fall on deaf ears. So, there are some people that I realize that I support a lot in one place, but I don't support them anywhere else. Like some people that I talk to a lot on Twitter, I realize I'm never going to their streams. It's not helping them that much. So I decided to start going to some of their streams more often. And I can still improve on that. I need to do that so much more. Even if it's something as simple as doing the lurk. The lurk, do not underestimate the power of the lurk, which is to open up a browser on your computer or on your phone or the app on your Xbox or whatever. Go to the stream and just let it run. Even if you're not in the room. It helps. It helps in so many ways. It's a show of support that goes beyond the little thing. Like Tony says, I am lurking right now. Exactly. I have a shitload of lurkers. It's something that I heard who the hell was I talking about? Oh, it was fucking Broman and his guest on the Ask Broman podcast I was on. They said flat out, you never fucking know who is watching your stream. You'll never know. Unless they tell you. So always be 100% you and try to be as professional as you can possibly be. And someday it will pay off on some level. I can't stress that enough because my computer was built by a specific company and I've had a pretty good relationship with that company. And one day out of nowhere, someone that I called in for tech support to about the computer showed up in my stream out of nowhere. And he was a very active member of the community for a long time. Now, since then, he's gotten a promotion, much deserved at that company, and doesn't have time to do it anymore. But you know what? That was really cool. I've had people from my ISP come to my stream because they sympathize with the fact that things aren't always working as they should. I got a guy, I've talked to him 3 or 4 times. Every time I come on, he goes, "Oh, Granddad Jim isn't." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, buddy? How you doing?" And he's really taken aback by the fact that he's talking to a Twitch chick. He thinks it's the coolest thing. And I find that to be humbling myself. But you never know who it is. You never know. Never. You never know. And it could be a game developer. It could be another streamer. It could be... Because, you can create as many... I have a lot of Twitch accounts, actually. I have one for every type of bot that I've tried to use. I hang on to them. I have other ideas that I've made on a whim that I never followed through on. And I don't use these accounts at all. If they don't have... if they don't have anyone, they're auto-host, nothing. But they're out there. They exist. I could, I suppose, at any given point, take control of one of those accounts and start lurking in people's chat. If I wanted to be anonymous, I don't. For the record, I don't have an anonymous Twitch profile. I would rather go in as me. I'm gonna go in at all. But I suppose, like, depending upon the situation, if I wanted to be anonymous and just watch somebody without saying, like, hey, yo, mom, I could do that. I probably. But it's a possibility. So other people do that too. Like, there's a lot of partners that have alt accounts and will watch in their own directory just to see how you act. Like right before Guardian Con, we were visited by a fairly prominent Destiny streamer out of nowhere who was asking me about beer. Out of nowhere. And it was a good feeling, And then when I went to Guardian Con, more people knew who I was than I ever thought possible. Like big content creators were like, "Oh yeah, Grindhead Jim, I know who you are." I'm like, "Holy shit," So, not that they're like hosting me or raiding me or anything. Nice, but always be on, right? Always be. Never assume no one's watching. Because sometimes they are and you don't even know. So, I guarantee you, if my parents were still alive, they would lurk in here. My parents would deny it, but they would do it. Absolutely. My dad especially would. Like, he would probably eat it up, like, hardcore. He'd love it. He was really into the early parts of the internet. Really dug the culture. He got into it before I did. He used to do these bulletin boards and all this other stuff. It was like an early version of what is now Reddit and stuff like that. So I feel like he would, on some level, be into live streaming. He would probably never do it himself, but he would probably get really involved. Like, I can see him following certain channels a lot, So, talking in circles now, but. And part of it is because, like, I'm so enthralled with the idea that my stream's actually working right now. And I love talking to you guys. And I hope it's helpful, and I hope that it's brightening your day. Even though it's my fucking day off. Sitting here streaming my heart out on the day I'm supposed to not be doing anything. Then when I finish here, I'm going to go back across the pond and try to give a cat medication that does not want the medication. He just will not let me give him his pills. He does not want anything to do with it. And like 2 times ago that I watched him, he was no problem. He was very easy. He seemed pretty chill about it. And then the last time and now, he just won't have it. He's being a jerk. He doesn't want anything to do with me. He hates me. Like the pedal was like, "You fucking hate me, no, 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 no. I don't want pills. I don't want your help. I don't want to get petted right now. I'm gonna spit him away." Great cat. It's not me. And I suppose it's some kind of like a instant karma thing for what happened with Bo while Guardian Con was happening. So, whatever. What about you guys? Like, what? Those of you that are not lurking. Like, what is your day like today? What do you guys? How are you doing? But I'm pretty sure most of you. I have a feeling most of you are at this point, and I will be wrapping up here relatively short. I also put the green screen back up because I basically, as soon as Magdalene said that she wasn't going to have a green screen, I was like, "Well, I know you don't have a green screen." Well, I don't want it to be weird, so I'll take my green screen down so we have a similar thing going on there, and I think it worked out really well. So I have 2 different versions. I've got one for a green screen and one without a green screen. Without. Very simple. Although I do want to get the names going for the other ones. I think the names are kind of cool, so people don't have to ask, "Who's that guy or that girl?" So, like little things, right? Like the little things that increase the value of the show. I always look for something small, and on the other hand, you've got streamers that have really minimalist overlays and stuff, and it works great for them. I like the flashy stuff. I do. because for me, it's like it gives me insight into like their personality a bit. And there's ways it can work for and against you. Like if your face is bigger than the game and you're playing a game actively, not interested. I want to see the gameplay be a lot bigger. I want to see what you're doing, you know. Jake says, I completed Pokemon Sun again. I had fun time watching you Rose. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. It's really important that we're entertaining and being that background noise, because that to me is that's the biggest compliment. That's what got me into this shit in the first place. Because when 2009 is when I first realized like it was a big thing. I had lost my job. It was a really good paying job, and it could not have happened at a worst possible time. And I got lucky with the situation financially that I got myself into. The band went full time. I had the means to keep afloat, but I was very depressed. And over the holiday that year, I was very lonely. I started watching Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game Nerd, and I got all of their videos downloaded and just watched them back to back, back to back to back. And even if I wasn't like actively watching them, it was on in the background while I was doing something else, either for the band or for myself or whatever, and it became like this voice in the room that kept me calm and kept me company. And I did the same thing this year. Same thing happened, where I'd lost my job, and I decided I was going to do this full time. But when I wasn't streaming, I was taking in something else, and it helps so much. So to be able to do that for anyone is the most gratifying thing in the world. So, thank you for telling me. Because, you know, those of us that have either social anxiety or struggle with depression, or even if we're just not struggling with those things, but once in a while you get lonely, it happens. And just having a human voice in the room can be the most comforting thing in the world. As opposed to dead silence. For me, silence doesn't work. I have tinnitus in both ears. Tinnitus, I don't know if you are. And I have bad ringing in my ears. So I like to have white noise going on all the time, so I don't hear the damn ringing. So I'm always listening to music, watching something, listening to a podcast, something. Even if it's just a fan on. You know, to create that white noise that I need, so I'm not sitting here in silence and going, you know. So, which brings me like my biggest tip for streamers in general. Bear in mind that no matter how difficult it feels, no matter how pointless it might feel, I promise you that if you do it long enough, you will make someone's day. And if that happens once, that's the best. So, and hopefully they'll make your day by letting you know. You guys make my day every time I do this, and I appreciate it. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and find someone to host here. See what's going on.